fucking loved it, but boy, a professional
club or something.
Oh, just the production, like they were sounding blown out on Faith Hill.
Oh yeah.
In the first lady they had in gold, her sound was sounding pretty bad. And I was like, ooh, why they do us like that?
So what's up, y'all? That's right, NERDSoul in the house. We're holding it down. This is the review of Luke Cage season 2. Man, it is impressive. It is amazing. But I am here with the wonderful, awesome Marqueeda LaStar.
Hey, what up, fam? We're about to get up into this Luke Cage, the entire season.
Yes.
We're coming at you. We're just going to be throwing stuff at you. So you're going to have to be really involved. You're going to have to be really active.
Yeah. I love this season. So I guess I'll defer to the young lady first. What are your first reaction from the season? Like, once you finished the last episode, how did you feel?
I felt doing season 1, I think we were still in awe of how black Luke Cage was, how awesome it was. We had like our critiques of it, and the slowdown that happened from the middle to the end. I had some issues with it. I was hoping that they were going to fill some gaps in about the whole Judas Butler introducing things that could harm him. I was like, oh, that's about to be something. And then all the different relationships that kind of were like left. And how you gonna get out of jail? Like, dang, brother going back to jail at the very end. Like, after all he done did, that ain't that be us. So I was excited to come back and see how they were going to tie all this stuff up and continue. You know, and then when they introduced Bushmaster in the trailer, I was like, how does this guy stand up? And so they delivered very well. So that was like some of my first thoughts from 1. My first impressions, I instantly felt I liked the story better. Even though like I had my drag the first 2, getting through the first 2 was because it picked up kind of like where we left out, but it was it felt different. Yeah. It felt very different.
Oh, what's up, Eon 001? Sorry you can't stay. I know you're only on episode 4. you know, when you finish the season, come back, watch this. We got mad love for you. What's up, Blackity Bluzz, I guess? Black D Bluzz or whatever. What's up? Nice to see you. This season has been incredible. When I finished the season, I was like, yo, we wrapped up the first season just so well, and then led us into a whole nother just a whole nother side of the mentality of what Luke Cage might be going forward. So I love this season, man. It's dope because Luke Cage itself, first season, I was just like, yo, this is dope. Even the brother stuff I actually enjoyed because it showed, how basically, you can have a father who's a reverend and everybody thinks he's great and he ain't doing too well.
What I will say about that and a lot of other
and Diamondback things, and all that.
Diamondback is that I will say this often as we're going through this. I thought they stepped it up. I was like, you thought last season was good, but I felt this one was so much better. Yeah. The pacing was good. They didn't drop me. Once I got reindoctrinated into the world, once I was back into the world, I stayed there. I had very easy...
Oh, Black Light Blues. Sorry, Black Light Blues. Got you.
I had very easy time binging this. I was like, once I got started, I think I had to stop for a minute, and then I got like to the 3rd or 4th episode, and it was on like Donkey Kong because like, oh, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Ooh, what's going to happen now? And so the writing was, but to come back to your point about the preacher thing, what I liked about anything you can point out in this show is that it's real. How it goes down, how people act, how people are. We all know about that preacher man that's way too friendly with the ladies of his congregation.
And even though he got prideful.
Very prideful. I get you want your pastor to be on and popping, but he got a pinky ring that don't sit right with you. He's too much like a pimp than a pastor. And so everybody knows about that type of person. Now, I'm not saying that this was the case, but to also speak of people who say one thing and do another. That's people all day, every day. I don't care what color you are, what religion you follow. That's people all day. I mean, we definitely found. I mean, that's what called cost Billy Graham his whole thing is that, you know, he cheated,
True.
got caught with a prostitute and stuff like that. So, and he had this millions of dollars was running on it, you know, he didn't have this thing. So I just felt like I like whatever comes up in that kind of way of like, ooh, you know, he did this or she did that, or
and a lot of it was just so
real.
Yeah, it was so like, this has happened to me, or I know people this has gone through this, or had to make these type of decisions.
Right.
And it was so natural.
Right.
Another thing that I liked is the way they made this. I think this is probably the season that's connected the other shows the best. Because there was, you know, they got people from last season, they got people from Iron Fist, they got the only thing we didn't see Jessica Jones, but I don't know the timeline. Jessica Jones season 2 might be going on at the same time this is. I don't know.
I don't know.
Because I haven't looked that up.
The time they shared together, if this happened after season 1, at any point after season 1, Jessica Jones and Luke Cage aren't going to get along. Yeah,
because we're definitely after the Defenders.
Right.
But I don't know if this is after Jessica Jones season 2 or not. This might be happening at the same time, but the next time they meet, they might not be. But we'll get to what Luke Cage is.
Exactly.
So guys, while we're talking in the chat, let us know what you thought about this season. And I'll just throw in. I guess we'll start light with some light characters. How did you feel about?
Somebody had a quick question
before
go ahead. They go. They might have already left. They said, how did my American friends cope with the Jamaican accents? We was good.
I was good with it. I was like, of course, you know, I'm sure, you know, this is if you're someone who's like from Jamaica, and I got a friend of mine. I do a show on music. He's Jamaican. He's from Jamaica. I'll probably ask him. He'll probably be like, those were horrible accents. But for me, from, you know, outside ear, it sounded natural enough.
He was saying that before he dipped out, he was saying that I guess he was asking about the accents because he said Bushmaster sounds like his barber. So I guess he's saying that the accents were pretty authentic. I felt as much as they used those accents in the criticisms that came after Black Panther, you would know that you would need to make sure those accents.
Yeah.
And I'm not familiar. I thought they were good.
Yeah, I thought they were good too. Big shout out to Pretty Soldier. Nice to see you in the chat. I know you can't stay, but nice to see you. As far as the just like Jamaican presence as a whole, it was cool to see the crosstown beef between like Harlem and going to Brooklyn and Queen. Back and forth and all that. Like I just thought it was really cool how they like infused it.
Manhattan.
Yeah, it was especially.
The only thing they didn't mention was Bronx. That's the only.
Yeah, they did have KRS-One at the Unity Jam, so he represented Bronx. Okay. So you know we'll let that slide. So what did you think about Colleen Wing starting off light?
Starting off real light, there wasn't enough of her.
Yeah.
They got into her in one episode. And
maybe two? No, I think it was just one.
I think it was just one.
Yeah, I think it was just one.
That's one. So I was like, I don't know what her availability was looking like. I'm going to assume that's what it was. But I was really hoping a build up to them. I forget the duo they formed together.
It depends. Some Daughters of the Dragon is one. Mm-hmm. And there's another one. Not Heroes for Hire. Well, no, are they on Heroes for Hire? I can't remember. But I know there's another one besides Daughters of the Dragon.
Right. And so I was hoping that they were going to put down some tracks, some framework for that.
Yeah, and see Misty quit, but she didn't quit. She quit, but she came back.
She came back. And so, and I don't feel that she would be quitting in a future season because a lot of things that she was complaining about, she kind of came to the light about. I feel that she was a little too high and mighty for my thing. I feel that in the sense she was so black woman high and mighty, like church high and mighty. Like you know these women at church who are like complete and utter hypocrites, but they judge everybody and their mama at church. I'm thinking of one particular at my mother's church that I can't stand.
Oh man!
And like,
and I did like Misty's beef with Nandi. I did like their beef with each other. I understood
their beef.
Yeah.
I understood, but I was like, I mean, that's one of the beefs I totally understood. Nani looked like she, I agree with her. I didn't see why she was on the police force because she didn't look like she was cut out for police work.
Nah.
If anything, she was there to kind of say, whatever Misty can do, I can do too.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why are you here, chick? This is not you. And so it did not surprise me
also,
when she like flipped and like turned them out. And
real quick about Nandi. Mm-hmm. In the chat, let us know $6 million. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying, $6 million.
Actually, it's not $6 million. It depends on how much she wanted because
it was $3 million ahead for the mother and daughter.
The mother, the daughter, Luke Cage, and anybody related to him, and all those people were present. That's
so it wasn't just mom and daughter.
$12 million.
Oh, I forgot. See, I thought it was just mom and daughter.
Remember, he put a green light on everybody because he wanted to keep Luke Cage occupied.
You're right.
He's like, I can't kill this dude.
So you're talking about.
I'll just keep him occupied. So she's like, look.
So you talking about double-digit millions? I can't.
I got the whole bag.
I can't.
And then the whole bag of who you put green line on. Can I get 12? And so she had hired a private plane. You know it had to be more than $3 million or $6 million.
You know she was paid. She was about to be in some kind of like non-extradition country, chilling. You would have been like, because Misty was like, yo, you seen Nandi this morning? He's like, well, I usually get in first.
But they took like a whole day. I know sometimes the time.
They took forever to find. Yeah.
But this is like one of my pet peeves with the entire season is how long they take to do just about anything. I understand you need to get your shots. You need to get your epic shots. But Luke Cage looking at the burning building, them taking forever to figure out. It doesn't take much to figure out that
Nandi did this.
It shouldn't have took you like it seemed like to me it took her a day before she even figured out that nobody knew that they should know where they were and how did they find.
Well, they also had to go and get that report from the badge swipe. So come
on, son. How long did that take? Come on. You're right. I guess that's realistic.
Because the show got to happen. You know what I'm saying?
The show got to happen.
But I do like that Black women in different shades, also in different shades of emotional and character content on this show. Because you had the chief, the old chief that blew up and came back. We saw her again. We saw Misty, of course. We saw Nandi. And you got Alfre Woodard and her daughter. I can't remember her name. Used to have a crush on her back in the day. I can't remember her name. Tilda, whoever that was. Mm-hmm. So we had tons of Black women, different positions, different characteristics.
Different takes. And this is how I think, this is how diversity works. Mm-hmm. And this is how you flush out any particular identity where you don't make them look one or two dimensional.
True.
If you want to make somebody look three dimensional, you have to have more characters to play all the different aspects, especially when you're talking about like a community or identity, because there's so many takes on that identity. Yeah. And you have a little bit of everybody in that identity and stuff like all the women and how they would clash, because even though they're of the same group, they have they had things they were cool on. Exactly. They take slightly different positions on similar issues. And so you're going to have clashes or you're going to have alliances. I don't know. I can we get to the point where I can give Misty that work about what I didn't like about Misty? All right, cool. Let's jump on Misty. Let's talk about Misty, because she is kind of a side character. Like, I can say that I'm glad that she was more present than she was in the first season. True. I had some problems with her in first season, or how she was written in first season, because it was just too much of I think a lot of people did. Like, I remember a whole podcast is getting started just because there wasn't enough of her. Wow. And we didn't get feel of her. Like, you got sassy, but we wasn't here for the sassy trope. I like that they showed that she was afraid. She had depth. She was fighting. She had moments where she faltered, in her own thinking. They really made her a full character this season. Yeah. And as they should, being that she had as much screen time as she did. Yeah, they had a lot more time. More time to develop her as a character. That said, some of the stuff if she was a person sitting next to me, she'd be getting on your nerves. She would be getting on my nerves because I'm girl, you a flip flopper, and you're the reason why people don't mess. I was going to say another word, but they don't with the police. With the police, like Big Sean, I don't that thing right there, like, Because I was like, girl, when it's convenient for me to be breaking these laws and bending these rules, and
going in and
outside
busting down drug spots and stuff.
Yeah, when she is free, no, it's not even other people. It's when she freelances too.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. So, girl, make up your mind.
True.
I mean, she would snap and turn on somebody in a heartbeat. Tilda, Luke Cage, you just rescued Tilda. Yeah. You sitting up here talking about all this fire from Mariah and Aisha, let the bitch burn and all this shit.
And you're supposed to be a cop. You want to be all righteous.
Exactly. And then he's like, and I applauded you when they temporarily put you in control of things and said, hey guys, you know, I'm boss right now, so no matter how I feel, I gotta put that side behind.
I gotta be a boss.
Exactly. But when your your ass slid back into detective and you got to be just a detective again, you was doing shady stuff all over again. It was like, it was so costly. It was like you almost got fired because you were doing stuff.
And then even at the end of the show, you saw her talking to Luke Cage, like,
that's what I mean.
You know, if I gotta take you down, blah blah blah. And it's like, I was like, hold up. Technically, since he's a vigilante, Luke Cage has been breaking the law ever since season 1. And
again, when he was useful and you felt like he was in your pocket,
it was all good.
You were defending him against other police officers. He is an ally, Captain. Hello. I was just like, girl, you need to make up your mind. You need to make up with me. I could not trust Misty.
Misty is very, you just got to be careful. Because you don't know when she's going to get self-righteous on you.
Right.
You don't.
And to me, that's hypocritical. If I don't know when you're going to be self-righteous, that's probably because you're being a hypocrite. And I can't. And this is probably one of the reasons why, you know, if you got Poe Fran, there's only certain things you invite them to. There's only certain things you say to them.
Because you never know when they're going to turn the Judge Dredd on you.
Exactly. You know? You never know when it's going to flare up. And so I was over Misty for that reason.
And Misty, now I will say this, Misty, you still looked amazing all season. I peeped you. I ain't say nothing, but I peeped you.
I feel like Misty is not caring for your
I peeped you. I ain't say nothing, but I saw.
She was really good in that dress at the very end.
And I did like how she was like, "Don't leave your bag in my car." Oh man,
there was a lot of her moral center.
Oh yeah.
Oh, best believe, because she's all over the place. And so that was, I said, but this is not a judgment on the writing. If anything, I thought it was so realistic.
Yeah, it makes it better.
I have like at my day job, there's police, and there's certain things we just can't talk about.
Yeah, because it's like you're going to get self-righteous on them.
Exactly. Their loyalty to their fellow police officers and their badges.
And they're going to act like they don't never bend no rules.
Exactly. And they act like they don't know what it's like on the other side. Yeah. Though sometimes when you hear them talk, they clearly talk about stuff they do. And you just like, you're a person. Stop tripping. But you're going to trip anyway, so I'm just going to let you be.
But as far as other side characters on the good guy side,
well, Misty's not a side character. She's like a pretty main character.
Well, I mean, I just say side because the name of the show is Luke Cage. Like, if the name of the show was like Harlem, then I'd be like, oh, this is just like kind of like Voltron. Everybody's, you know, all the paladins are kind of like part of the show.
I can't see the show. He said it was show. I thought that was funny when he broke in the fourth wall.
But
he's like, it's my show.
Yeah, that was funny. He was like, it's my show. It's my show. But we did get a visit from someone who I think is better, who's been getting progressively better since their own series.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Are you talking about Fake Fist?
Iron Fist. Iron Fist has gotten a lot better. Way better. He's definitely someone who I can accept now. I'm still not super cool on him. I really would have liked to have an Asian person play that role and then have this story kind of flipped in a way where he was reconnecting with his roots. And that's how, but that's a whole other thing. What's done is done. What's done is done.
I agree with you. And I also agree with it. I was like, are they trying to get me to like Danny Rand?
Yeah, because they know in the comics they're always together. Right. So they're like, all right, we gotta usher him in.
And like Heroes for Hire, of course. Yeah. Because it could be, I was like, I feel like they're setting that up because they toned down so much you didn't like about Danny Rand.
Yeah,
Actor,
they definitely fixed it up.
From his own series.
He's
Iron
cooler
Fist,
now.
to even the Defenders, because he was hard even.
But he was. You could see he was better in the Defenders than in.
But it was like,
I know, but it's like in the Defenders, you're like, oh, okay, we see you're rewriting him, and now they did kind of mention it. He was like, he's found his center. He's still
Exactly.
He tried to address it.
He's not like mad.
Like, it's all me. I'm the Defender's color.
Right, exactly. He's not like mad whiny, mad like hippie deep, fake deep, naive about everything in the world. Like, he's just not nearly as upset. Like, or if you tell him something and he observes something, because it's like, remember, it's like our biggest thing was that he was like raised by monks. Yeah. And everything seemed to be so inconsistent. I'm like, how are you raised by more warrior monks? And you complain as much as you do. Yeah. You're as naive as you are. You're as unwise as you are.
And then also, when you left the U.S. or when you left, society, you were still like old enough to know about like basic like internet and stuff. Right. So it's like, why are you acting brand new about
everything?
Yeah.
So he was really obnoxious, and I felt like I actually liked the Danny Rand in this episode.
And to realize that, hey, look, money does have power. Like, my money will do more than my fist will ever do. Like, he quickly bought that building. Like, honestly, he could probably drop tips on such and such, drug dealer or whatever, have somebody write an expose just because he's Danny Rand. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So he could do way more with his access and his money than running around beating people up ever could. Mm-hmm. But I did like all the team ups, and this team up was solid because they know they got to make them, especially the patty cake. I thought that was cool.
That was really funny.
I thought that was cool.
That was so
For him to call it patty cake, I just thought it was funny.
I did love about the dad though, like when him and Luke Cage. So Luke Cage's father shows up, and at first he's very abrasive because it's hard. Yeah, it's hard for parents, especially self-righteous, religious parents in particular,
especially when they've been found out to be wrong. Because remember, your sins grew up, framed me for murder, had me in jail, then tried to kill me again when I got out.
Luke in his rage. This is why I sided with him until the very end with him and Claire. Yeah, like Claire was like, "No, you need to make amends," and even when he broke it down, like the levels to it. Like,
it's not that easy.
It's not that easy. I miss my mother dying. I had my brother almost nearly killed me. I got framed. I got to deal with this record now. It follows me wherever I go. Like, it's a constant reminder. The whole life I am living right now
is based on the sins of my father. And my father won't own up to it. And it digs at me.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like if you know someone's lying and it's like, yo, man, just keep it real with me. Right. And they're like, nah, I ain't do it. And you're just like,
and
dude.
When the father first shows up, he's not nearly as repentant as he is when he realizes that Luke is not going to reconcile with him unless he changes his whole approach.
True.
His whole approach was like, look at here, boy. I'm here now. Let's try to reconnect. And he was like, no, why we gotta do anything? I'm good.
Yeah, it was
living.
like,
I'm cool. You can go wherever you were.
Yeah, basically until you come clean.
Right.
And he finally did. And that's one thing I liked about that relationship is it wasn't just super like, hey, dad, hey, son, hug. Mm-hmm. But they did find a path to each other.
And again, I feel that's so real because I feel like people miss you. They become to this. I feel like we've all personally been there where we need to apologize for something. Yeah. And no matter how wrong we was, depending on how we were feeling about it, it's hard for us to do this apology that we know we should do.
Or if you're going to apologize, Luke Cage, someone might cross the line and then you're like, well, screw it, I'm not apologizing. Right. And then you're like, it's like, no, you should still apologize for that.
Right. Because they're angry and they're hurt. That's true. Because Luke Cage, obviously angry and hurt and has every reason to be. Yeah. And that's another thing when you go to apologize, you have to realize that they're mad with you because they're hurt and they're hurt and mad for solid reasons.
And for years.
And that's been festering. So you've got a lot of work to do if you're going to be the person who set it right, because you're the person who set it in motion. And that's the thing that the dad was failing to realize.
Until later on, and opened up.
He got rejected. He felt like he wasn't going to get through to Luke Cage. Luke Cage had dismissed him for the second time and made very clear that this is not happening between you.
Done.
And then I also think Claire's visit also kind of broke him up a little bit. It's like, my son's in love. He's in love with this nice, lovely woman. And
he's feeling a way that has compelled her to speak to me. Right. So there must be something going on. And, when someone that age, they're probably looking back on their life and they see their regrets. And you know what I'm saying? He probably was able to let that go, hopefully. And as we saw, kind of reconnect with him, especially with the whole thing with bringing Piranha to him. And I want to talk about Piranha with you, especially with you.
Goodness,
because if you guys have watched Us on Atlanta, Piranha is very similar to a certain character, but just that he got money. Piranha is the Bibby of Luke Cage. Piranha is the Bibby of Luke Cage.
Yeah, he's a successful Bibby. He's not nearly as annoying, though. I will give him that, because Bibby was getting under my skin. That dude was so trifling. Like, I wanted to wring his neck.
He's like, Dad, you're supposed to hurt me, not help me. He was funny.
This guy, it was funny, but only because it was too true. Like, that character
we all
was
know
so
that guy.
Real. I couldn't. I was like, ooh.
We all know a dude like Piranha, where it's
Piranha
like,
to me
he's
was
flashy, he's successful, but he's too much.
Exactly. But Piranha was definitely trifling. And it was his own undoing. Like, it's his own undoing. Had he sat and did what he was supposed to do, and that was the problem. This is another thing in this theme. Like, it's like hurry up and wait, or hurry up and like get whatever you were running from, you're going to get. So it's like, so he's like, I'm going to dodge. I'm going to get. I was like, well, do you have a plan on how you're going to get there? You know, you can't be seen on the street, my God.
Yeah, because they looking for you.
So I don't even understand how
like they're riding cabs 24/7
looking for you. So it's like, if you don't have some kind of protection, you're limping, because you got a bust, you got a sprained ankle. Like you're supposed to be smart, right? Because you acquire all this money, great with numbers and stuff like this. This is like a great. And what killed me is that Piranha's from the street. He got street name because he's supposedly from the street, but you don't got no street knowledge to know that you're not gonna make it. To wherever you're trying to go, unless you're extremely strategic about it, or you've got someone like Luke Cage who pretty much
knock down doors.
So I was like, you need to stay put, and he literally left 30 minutes after Luke Cage left, and I was just like, oh my goodness,
it's like you just don't learn.
I was like, what do you not understand about the consequences? What do you think they're gonna do when they find you, and do you really think they're gonna let you go? But are they? Because again, if you could switch the money, you could probably go and say, hey, they need to get that money back, just like the lawyer ended up doing.
Yeah, because he was like, yo, it was under duress, so I got the money back. So technically, Mariah was only broke for like a day.
You're right.
Yeah, so Piranha, man, props to Piranha. Rest in peace, Piranha, because
he was so charming. He's like, who wants to shoot Luke Cage?
Yo, but he was so funny.
He was like, trifling.
Don't let nobody upstairs unless they find these two.
Exactly. No, I was okay with that. I was like, okay, he's doing a lot.
He that extra dude.
But when he was like, oh, we're gonna let you making me look bad on stage. You want the money or not? I was like, you're stupid, and he was telling me you're stupid.
He's like, what if the bullet bounces off me and hit somebody, man?
Oh my
like
God.
That FBI agent that shot somebody in a party trying to do a backflip. You know what I'm saying? And dude walked off like. But anyway, like Piranha, he's dope. I did want to talk about two people, sort of, but one in particular, Shades.
Okay,
Man,
okay. Slide
one
off my
of
shades.
my favorite characters.
Okay.
Because I love characters, especially bad guys, that are always kind of in the background, always in the darkness, You never know. Like, that person ends up dead, or that person disappears.
Shades made me realize the fire that I never knew who burned for, like, Theo, I think Rossi is his last name, which is the actor.
Oh, okay.
But, like, he's, like, my AKA, like, Marvel baddie bae. Like,
yo, he's
like,
he's
if
dope.
I was trying to be, like, a bad bitch and be on the run, that's who I would want to be my boo. Like, I was so in love with this love affair, and I felt really frustrated with Mariah because she had it all, and it was so manic. The idea of, like, you're gonna push him to the side, you're not gonna tell him what's going on, the reason why you brought on your daughter. You're not gonna tell him those things. Yeah. You're just sitting him to the side. All of a sudden, he's right next to you. He's sitting next to you like he always does. And then your daughter shows up, and you go. And you push him. And like,
don't give him any kind of direction.
No direction. Like, what are you doing? Oh, well, I'm just bringing T on because I need her to get more funds. Like, you tell him everything. Why not tell him that? So it's like, left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. But
he still held her down.
Still held her down. It made him pause.
Yeah.
I think it gave him pause, which sets us up for what will come later.
Yeah.
Because she keeps doing things that he has to question.
Yeah.
That he has to reevaluate.
Because he gave her solid advice on selling the Basquiat, not selling to the Yardies, like all kinds of stuff.
He's like, there's so many ways we could go about this. Like, I'm on board for us going legit. I'm not crazy about the idea. I think there's more money to be had here. But he really
because he was like, I want money I can put my hands on.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
But Shades is very old school, and a lot of people might be like, old school, or it's 2018 or whatever. But there's a lot of old school stuff that's good that we were talking about like before.
Right.
Like in the game, like we don't gangbang on Sunday. We don't do kids' schoolyards. We don't do like barbershops and stuff. Yeah, we don't do churches.
Been old elderly and stuff like that.
It's like
there's certain shops and places and spots that are neutral,
that are like
so
neutral.
We can live. So there's a point to all this where it gets. He's like, it was so, and we all saw that closer to the end. So he's like, everything's so chaotic.
Yep.
Like, why would you want to live in this environment? The whole reason for him signing up for the dream that Mariah was selling is because he didn't want to look over his shoulder. Yeah. He knew the longer that they did this, the more
worse it's going to be.
The more likely they were going to get caught. That's why he's trying to tell Kamachi, aka Darius. Yeah. Like, look, if you don't eventually get out of this game, the game is going to take you out. You know, because you're going to have to be paranoid. You have to look over your shoulder. And the minute you start getting complacent, the minute you get tired of doing that, somebody takes you out. Yep. And stuff like that. And unfortunately, I feel like Darius, when we learn he's the snitch at fairly early in the season, I knew this collision was happening.
Yeah, but one thing we didn't know was the relationship. I thought that was amazing how when they were talking about what's inside happened inside. When they had a relationship together in jail, Shades and Darius.
I thought that was something she was just using against
him.
They
had a conversation when they were waiting for Luke Cage at the barbershop. And they were talking about how they care about each other, how they've known each other forever, blah, blah, blah. And in jail, and he said, what's inside stays inside. And he was like, Darius was like, yo, inside, outside, ain't no difference. And they actually had a relationship. They had a relationship in jail. Watch it again.
Okay, I understood that conversation for different values that they were talking for, because that sounds random from what they were talking for right when he was like, the inside rules don't count. And there are inside rules to be in prison. Yeah. Surviving prison. And I took that as to say that Comanche was still working on inside prison rules that don't work outside in the real world. Okay. And they especially don't work if you're trying to eventually level up to a point where you're not constantly looking over your shoulder, which is, to me, makes sense at the beginning and the end. I feel like that might be, you might be able to see that if you want to see it because of the accusation that Mariah threw at him, which I thought was really empty-handed, because there is no other time. Season 1, we have a glimpse at them in prison. Okay. in season 2, there is no energy, interaction, or otherwise.
Well, see, that's why I thought it was. That's why I thought it was so crazy because I was like, oh snap!
No,
I was like,
I didn't.
I was like,
I saw it as a philosophy how you live your life.
Well, see, I took it because, like, of course, when they came in, when Darius saw Shades with Mariah the first time, he had like a look on his face, and then I was just like, oh, that's what the look was for. They used to be a couple, and he thought, you know, I'm out, and it's gonna be kind of different. And okay, all right, maybe I was tripping,
Oh, I'm gonna look that up because
I thought Darius and Shades super definitely had a relationship.
And then they go to explain so I feel like not to necessarily get rid of that theory, but to make it more pointed and directed, is to show exactly how far they went back. They was boys.
Yeah.
From the time they were boys.
Yeah.
This is a relationship like I know guys who are like, I would do for my brother because they explain.
Okay.
He came through for Shades when nobody else would.
Yeah.
They explained how he got his nickname was because of Darius, how he survived the hood, how he got introduced to the Stokes. Everything is through his connection to Darius, and it really saved his ass from either having his ass handed to him, like just being physically beaten on, having a relationship, having someone, a companion. They go through hell together. They get arrested together. They get thrown in prison together.
They were paid to kill Luke Cage together.
It's like, who doing all that together, and they not boys. That's why he was so defensive of him, because he's like, I've literally known this dude longer than I've known you.
Yeah,
anybody. I've not
before he could speak English.
Right. Before exactly. He's like, the mom was like, you couldn't speak a word of English. So that's where I feel this tight bond comes from, is somebody who's constantly, like, Darius had taken the heat for him. His mom, remember, he's like, mom whooped his ass, but he wouldn't say, you know, it was me or my idea. Like, Darius had already taken, metaphoric bullets for Darius. For Shades many times, to prove his loyalty. And I think it was extremely disappointing to find out he's snitching. But again, the world is not black and white.
Yeah.
You got out. I did not get out.
Yeah.
I want out. Prison life is rough. Especially when you don't got your main homie.
And then he said, yo, I made it so we could both get out. Right. You know what I'm saying? So he, written out.
I don't know how much truth there was to that. He was doing that mad walk back, like, I'm trying to make it sound good, like it's not what you think. He's like, nah, I don't think he had anything set up, unfortunately. I don't think he had enough to bargain. It's not like
he didn't have anything really to bargain with.
Exactly. It was more like, hey, you want out of prison. I know your homie is working real close to Mariah.
True.
Get out of jail, get you what you know. And they, again, this is police work. I don't know how it works on the outside world, but all the readings I ever saw about it kind of make it seem like it's always so counterproductive.
True.
Like you're sending this guy into the fire. Mariah has been
by
himself. They've been raising hell for how long? 20 years she's been doing this.
Yeah, and then her mom before her.
And they've been doing this for decades. Yeah. If you think about the whole family line.
True.
How much time did you really give this man? Like, I get that he's connected to Shades.
You gave him like 3 weeks to take her whole organization down.
Even if you gave him a few months, that's still not enough time, because remember, Mariah, he's new. Because Mariah's hostile to him from the very first. Yeah, because he's brand new. You're Shades boy. Exactly. You know and I don't know what I could bring you.
True.
In the amount of time you're giving me, and you're pressing me every time you see me. It's like, it does not work like that. Yeah. It does not work. They're always doing stuff that would counterproduct what they're trying to do. Why would you make Shades wear a wire and then make him go to the club after he had complete fallout? Like she don't know.
Complete confession.
Yeah. Like, you don't know that she already know that she's probably been somewhere doing something. Like, you come in.
Yeah, Mariah's not stupid.
And I felt like Shades wasn't stupid either, but it's almost like you got him in a rock and a hard place now.
Yeah.
Now he wants to roll on her to stop her. And he feels it's the only way he can to stop her because she's out of control.
Yeah, because she's become a different woman than what he fell in love with.
And she's breaking the rules.
Yep.
That he has a problem with.
Yeah, there's a code to this, like
exactly.
you said.
And Darius broke the rules too. I
Yeah.
think by doing what he did, but then there's also a bit of irony that the only way you can feel the fix it. I don't understand why you couldn't do to her that you did to Darius, and you almost did. You almost did, and then he's like, she's not worth the effort. I'm like, why?
Yeah, why wouldn't she be?
Like, because the other way, making this deal again. I'm not pro bad guys. I really am not. I really want a world where I don't have to worry about that type of shit. But at the same time, because of Misty's attitude and just like for me, it was a very police attitude of, well, you're scum.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter that we totally like
do you wrong,
or
lie to you, or what's an ideal or anything.
I'm like, it's this, and the thing is, nobody's willing to accept their moving morals. Like, accept it, embrace it, because you coming down on Luke Cage for being vigilante, but everybody's doing side shit. It's true. It's driving me nuts. I don't know. It's just too many like self-righteous people in the show. Yeah. A lot of people demanding a lot of shit in the show, and I was like, but it was great writing because it's very real. I'm not complaining. I feel like this is so much like it's a review of Luke Cage, but they were doing some excellent writing because they were talking about a lot of people. A lot of people you know.
And which brings me to Bushmaster.
Okay.
Like, I want to talk about Bushmaster for a second because at first you're just like, yo, this dude, I don't know why he has this revenge thing so hard. He is tripping. This guy is just like, yo, why doesn't he stop? Because his uncle is like, look, man, revenge, you're going to have to dig 2 graves. You keep taking this nightshade, it's going to be worse. It's going to drive you crazy, blah, blah, blah. He won't let it go. He's like, my sister, look, she is dead and gone. There's nothing you can do. Still going on. Still going crazy. Then you get this backstory of what actually happened. And for Mom Mabel to burn down his house with his mother in it was bad enough. But for her to then come and like gloat and throw the papers in the fire and say like, I told her, I ain't dealing with no lawyers. And kind of like in his face, I was like, yeah, you got to kill him. I was like, you can't, because it's one thing to do it, but then she had to like gloat in his face.
He got past that.
True.
Uncle Pete came back and shot the dude. We was like, what is with this family? Like, why? Who's that?
See, Nightshade with the 2 hair buns. Oh, yeah. What is it? What is it? With the Afro puffs.
Right, Tilda.
Tilda came through with the Afro puffs at the end.
That's so true.
Yeah, and she, they look nice. They look very nice.
And it's funny how literally all this has driven Tilda to be. She started out with one character.
Yeah, she was just chilling with her little shop
and went to the other side and had everybody kind of left her alone. She'd be still in that shop.
Yeah, she'd be in the shop
selling her little natural
like herbal stuff and everything.
Stuff, yeah, I
helping
felt,
the community.
I felt the least. I felt the least critical of Tilda. I didn't have a lot of problems with Tilda. I think my only time where I'm like, girl, boo, was when her mother first shows back up.
Yeah. It's like you should have shut her down.
Yeah, exactly. You know her MO. Like, why
like, nah, Mom, I'm cool.
Right. Like, why are we acting brand new? And then,
nope.
You keep asking the woman to tell you stuff, knowing you're not ready for it. You know your family's history. You know there's so much.
And if you don't know the history, there's something shady going on.
Right. Well, she's very aware of like the crime in their family and stuff like that. She knows that, because she makes little comments and stuff like that, like, oh, she can't help it, because they all do this.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And That was my thing. That was my only thing. Like, you getting involved with your mom is a bad idea.
Horrible idea.
You should have rebuked her from the minute she showed up back on your door. You know, 9 times out of 10,
second Ma Duke show up,
she doesn't show up unless she wants something. But anyway, as things go on, you keep asking the woman to tell you shit.
True.
Like, she even like bargains with Luke Cage to get him to tell everything about his mom. And I'm like, look, do you want to know?
That was a crucial scene because once again we get writing that ties back to season 1,
right?
Because we get to hear more about Uncle Pete,
right,
that raped her. Because Rittenauer said something about her daughter, like, does she know her real age?
And I assumed
that was
his daughter. I made the same. I was like, that was such a good twist. The writing this season really.
The writing, they knew what they was doing.
They figured it out because this season.
They cracked the code on this season.
Yeah, this season.
Or maybe they already knew and they were like, yo, we got to leave these threads open because we're going to close them.
I mean, once it paced, I literally wanted to see every episode. I was like, I need to know what's happening. I ended up binging everything, and then I started to get a little tired. And I said, "Okay, only reason I stopped because I literally
because it's like I'm sleepy.
And I'm sleepy, and I need all my brain to catch everything. But I only had like a episode and a half left, and I was like, all right,
we can do this.
I'm gonna get up tomorrow and polish this on off."
That moment when she talked about Uncle Pete raping her, and having Tilda. And Mom Mabel taking Tilda immediately, and then she doesn't love her,
and she's like, no abortions, and
it's like,
oh my goodness.
That thing was because then you take a character who is definitely like I can't remember who, I think Nandi called her a cancer for Harlem. You take someone who is definitely a cancer, but then you're like, well, when you're raised in this environment. And like your child is stolen from you, and this, that, and the third, all that.
The child that she can't love.
You come up? Yeah.
She's like, every time I saw you, all I saw was Uncle Pete.
Yeah. So it's like,
I know I'm supposed to love you, but I don't.
Can you blame her?
Like, dang.
Can you fully blame her for ending up sort of how she did? Because it's weird because you have this nurturing nature, and then of course once you become an adult, you have to take responsibility for your choices, right. But your choices are then informed by your childhood.
I couldn't understand about Tilda is not her hating her mother, not wanting to kill her mother.
Yeah.
What I couldn't get, I thought it was very poetic how she handled with no one, because one of my pet peeves with Misty, we already went over how she's a flip flopper.
Yeah.
But Luke keeps telling people, I'm done. I'm through.
I ain't gonna save you no more.
Right. Had you done any of those things, we wouldn't have got here. Like, there's a few times where if you had let the chick burn, had you let Bushmaster have his way with her, we would have been good, and you could save more lives. But here you is out caping from her. Like, the whole reason why you had to go to Harlem's Club is because she did this free concert with KRS-One. And everybody, their grandma, including myself, probably would have been there.
Yeah.
I get it.
I'd have been up in that joint too.
Because we can't say no to free. I get
it. And they said it too. they had Sway and Heather B on the joint.
Exactly. It was so blackmail. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so everybody scatters. The minute all these gunshots happen, you literally it's down to like, you even get a chance. You go and fight with the dude. He knocks you on your ass. You get knocked out for a sec. And then Misty is like, I don't think you can take him. Look at you. You could, if you was really about your word and not saving that hoe.
You could have just like, I'm going home.
Man, you could have just faked it. You could be like, man, what? You could have did so much. You could have did so much with that. It's like, she's like giving you an out. She's like, I don't think you can take him. Look at you. And
Luke Cage could have been like,
Right. You know what? I don't think I can.
I can't.
We need to regroup and figure this out. But you can't go either. Like, you could have snatched up Misty and said, we need reinforcements. And by the time reinforcements showed up, the deed would have been done. Because one thing I hated was how things got dragged out with Mariah. I get that. For the most part, the story was good. The pacing was good. Yeah. So we were good. But it was almost like, oh, now that's becoming
Mariah
forced.
kept Mariah kept depending on Luke Cage doing like quote the right thing.
Right.
And I know we had someone in the chat talking about.
What do you guys think about Luke and Justice Jones Reckless? We'll pick back up. I think Claire is finished. Well, I definitely think Claire and Luke is finished. I think she stayed away long enough for him to realize that it's too dangerous. It's not even like done. She's not done, but he doesn't want to be attached to anybody because remember he already lost a wife. Stuff. And so even though he found out the truth about her, but anyway, it's become something where he's like, he already had made that realization about Claire. True. Like, well, what if they find a way to hurt you? Well, they have because they can hurt Claire. Yeah, they can. So now Claire's out of the picture. Yeah, he kind of wants her to stay out of the picture. So I felt like he pushed her away. Not because he doesn't love her. When he tells her to go home, and then Suge walks away, and he has that moment of reflection. Yeah. He knows what he's doing, and it's not because he doesn't still love Claire. It's just he doesn't want to see her get hurt. Yeah, he can't guarantee he can keep his anger in check, and I think he knows Claire is not going to agree with what he's doing to keep Harlem safe. Oh, he knows. And which I was upset about because D-Dub, right? D-Dub is like, you can't come here no more if you're going to be a crime boss. Yeah. And he's been selling that dude out. I have not like...
Selling Luke Cage shirts. Selling Luke Cage got beat up shirts.
Exactly. It's not even about him doing the merchandise. It's just he claims to be your friend and he's clearly using you to get on. But then he wants to act friendly with you. And then he has the audacity to get indignant with you. When it's like, well, I wasn't being supportive. I'm being very demandative. And at any time you took an L, I was trying to make a profit out of it. And then
he had the DVDs on the table in front of the shop.
And then when he's like, man, I told you, I got him, you wouldn't even back him up. He's not a good friend. D-Dub was like the worst friend ever.
D-Dub is the dude so much. That rolls in the barbershop that got like either DVDs or like CDs or something. He's selling something.
Right. He's trying to scam me out of something. Like if he can get something for nothing.
He's selling meat from the meat truck. he always selling something.
He's always selling something, and he's not somebody to be trusted or depended upon. Nah. Even though he's trying to have that friendship with Luke Cage. So he's always trying to make their friendship seem like it's more, but then his actions.
Reduce it to just a monetary thing.
Exactly. He wants to be close to the action because that's how he makes his money. Yeah. He's more worried about his exclusivity than he is about Luke Cage and his well-being. Yeah. And then so you're always asking the man to do something about something that he doesn't have control over. You know he's got a code. Yeah. And they're always like, on him about what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Like that happened like 3 different times in this season where they all like,
what you going to do, Luke?
Exactly.
It's like, yo, man, I'm one dude trying to like make sure a whole city is safe.
And stuff. And the second time they did it, they were taunting him. Yeah. Well, you got all knocked up by that dude, but still, like, what are you going to do? And it's like, well, you could go to Bushmaster since y'all feel so great about him. That's how I felt. You know what I'm saying? If I got knocked up, why aren't y'all talking to Bushmaster? He's so great. Why y'all in my face? Like, I felt some kind of way. I felt some kind of way about that. But no, I don't think Jessica and him are ever going to be a thing.
It's weird. I don't know if they're.
I get that the comic books they're a thing. That's who he marries.
Yeah, and they have a child and all that. But I don't know if they're, because it's weird because Misty hasn't quit the Force, and we don't know where Claire is. Like we assume she's done. But
she was in the club. Remember,
Claire is way too good an actress. Well, sorry, not Claire's too good an actress. She's a good character, but I can't even think of the girl's name now. But she is too good an actress. Rosario Dawson is way too good an actress to not come back. Right. So we know she'll be back in some way, shape, or form. Right. But she's been in like Daredevil. She's been in all of them.
I like that they touched on that too. Yeah, they explored that. They're like, look, you and everybody with special abilities. What is your thing? Yeah, what is your thing? Yeah, what and so exactly. So, Luke Cage brought it up to sling mud, and then she talked about it, just like it is this thing I'm attracted, like, because she was like a regular nurse. Yeah, and then she went on, and then even when Luke's father asked her what she did for a living. she helps people with special abilities. Like she's owning that's her identity now and stuff. So yeah, I thought it was pretty awesome.
And so it's like, you know, we have
Misty marries Iron Fist in the comics.
I think, but I can't remember.
I did not know that.
I did not know that.
That's like a whole bunch of U factor when that's out. Like that's
we'll let that ride.
The characters, the way the characters are in this show,
are so different.
So
than
different.
The comics.
I cannot see her being attracted to Danny Rand's.
Nah, he's gotten better, but he ain't gotten that better.
Exactly.
Because we saw the brother that hooked her on the show, little dark skinned Dark Gable. You know what I'm saying? He was like, what up, girl? He was sitting over there like, oh God. Then he was trying to find this straw like, oh. What up, girl? So we know the kind of brother that she like the dark chocolate brothers. Yeah. I can't see her switching to French vanilla, but you never know. I mean, maybe she ain't got the right cup.
Even French vanilla, I feel like it's just vanilla.
That's just regular. Vanilla beef.
But he ain't got nothing extra in there.
Oh man! So, but beyond that, we got a great show because these two villains, or this show does what I've wanted to do or wanted to see done with a lot of shows, where you have more than one villain.
A couple for 20 years.
Oh, dang! So you got a villain, or you have more than one villain. So there are times when Luke Cage and, of course, Bushmaster together, where I want to get to in a second. And you got times where it's like Bushmaster is doing his own thing against, Mariah, and Luke is out of it, and then Luke is in it. So I like having, three, revolving parties that all sort of want the same thing.
I feel like if you did not have more than one villain than Luke Cage, because Luke Cage is a proper superhero in all respects. And neither the Bushmaster or Mariah in their own right, I think, would be a legitimate, would be enough.
Of a threat?
Of a threat. Yeah. It wouldn't be enough of keeping him busy enough. Like, if he could have focused, I think it's even mentioned either by Misty or somebody where they need to focus on one bad guy at a time.
Yeah.
It was too much happening at one time.
Yeah.
And
it keeps it frenetic.
Exactly. And that's what was allowing people to get further and further along with their plans.
Yeah.
Had not all this stuff been happening at the same time, even in the first half, with Luke Cage being a little distracted by Claire.
Slightly.
And what's going on, his father popping up, and Misty going through the issue of I'm trying to figure out this whole thing with my arm. Yep. And finally get to discover her robotic, how she gets her robotic arm. Yeah, Danny hooks it up. In this particular universe, because it goes totally different in the comics.
I think it's different in the comics.
Totally different in the comics.
But it's good to have Danny there because you make this show connected so well to the other shows.
It's not only I love, even with Iron Fist, even though I am not a fan, I do like.
Oh, okay. What is that? Bunk
if
Caesar?
They were smart, they would have had Claire go back to her first husband, Bill Foster, a.k.a. the first Goliath in the comics.
So technically, I guess who Lawrence Fishburne is playing in Ant-Man, which I doubt that'll happen. But I doubt. There's not a lot of crossover, but because they still call it the Incident. And I'm like, dude, it's Avengers 1. Why don't you just say when I don't? But I know they have to keep that distinction for whatever reason.
Right. Or
they say the green guy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, just call him the Hulk.
I don't know.
It's still Marvel. It's not like you're infringing on a copyright.
I don't know what that is. That's so true because they will.
It's like the green guy.
They will not name any of those people by name. They will not say Avengers. I have no idea what it is, but there's something. There's some legal mojo going on. Yeah,
it's something going on.
It's like either they're making a joke or there's some legal stuff going on.
Yeah. But I do want to get into, I guess, a little further into Bushmaster and the whole situation with Jamaicans, because they even touch on immigration for a second.
Okay,
which I thought was
social
interesting.
commentary in this episode is it was strong before. But what I liked about social commentary is that they are definitely taking some notes. I feel like the Atlanta effect is real and in effect. And I'm going to say that because While in the first season, it's hoodies up.
Yeah.
It's very direct. It's very in your face. There's Black Lives Matter. It's very in your face.
Yeah, because that's what was happening at the time. Some of
the social things, and then I think Luke Cage came out September 2016, and then Atlanta I think came out about the same.
Around the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because the first season of Atlanta is September 16 too. And so I think in the time that Atlanta's been swept through, got all these awards. Yep. And what is great about Atlanta and Donald Glover's crew is it observes stuff. It mentions stuff.
Yeah.
It's mentions stuff in the way that it happens in everyday life.
Yep.
Somebody is not going to go on some platform about, Black Lives Matter or even something as strong as a political statement as Hoodies Up. Yeah. Hoodies Up was like the hashtag, one of the hashtags for before. It was a hashtag, a political hashtag before Luke Cage came out, and it was used for live streaming the show. So it kind of
and it was almost perfect timing,
right,
to have a bulletproof black man at that time
with all that's happening. But what I'm saying is, I feel like the people who need to hear these messages most usually rebuke that direct thing.
Yeah.
Or black people and people of color get weird because it's happened with This Is America, where it's very obvious the statement that somebody's trying to make that's
and then
they're like, well, this has been said before, and why are you telling us? We already know. And I'm just like, well, does that mean we need to stop talking about it? Because apparently we need to still have a conversation about it.
As long as it's still happening, we still need to talk about it.
Right. So to get around that is, I feel like there's been less of that with Atlanta, and therefore less of it with Luke Cage, because it becomes observational.
Yeah.
And it becomes very much a conversation of they're
between two characters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where it's like they're going to beat up all Jamaicans because they mentioned
that's what cops do.
That's what happens.
Yep.
That you got something happening in Jamaica, Queens, and all this stuff. Or this is happening in Brooklyn in particular, and it's with a particular group, and the gang is closely connected to its ethnic identity. They don't feel like they have the time.
Nope.
To make sure they've got somebody.
They're just going to round up everybody.
Round up people. And that's how innocent people get records. They get caught in the system when they shouldn't. They screw over people's lives.
Yeah.
And you're like, I never did anything wrong in my life.
They get locked up. They're in jail. They have some type of bail. Or they're in holding, because that's another thing cops will do.
Particularly in New York. New York is so notorious for holding people in jail forever and a day.
They'll be like, well, you're not under arrest. You're in holding.
Right.
So now you're in this weird place where it's like, I think they can hold you 72 hours. Mm-hmm. So now they messed up 3 of your days. Right. And it's not like they get over,
if they charge you, charges have to be filed in 72 hours.
Okay, yeah.
There's something else where they have like 24-hour period, and then they got 72-hour period.
So it's like they're just going to round up all the, and his uncle was trying to tell him, because his uncle was, his center, where it was like, yo, man, look, I raised you, and this is what's going to happen. They're going to grab all Jamaicans. They're not just going to say you. They're not just going to grab the Bushmaster. No, they're going to grab all Jamaicans.
And then the Bushmaster's combat, it was also true. They've always been doing it.
They've always been doing it.
So that gets into racial profiling, which even when there's times of peace,
true,
racial profiling always happens.
Always exists. So I loved that part where they actually were able to talk about that, even though, of course, ICE is happening, not to, it's in the news right now. It's in the news. You might have heard.
It's current, and of course, when they filmed this, they had no idea this was.
They had no idea.
It's just like the first season, where it's very just timely.
Yeah.
It's a coinky because some people would say that lined up at the same time.
Yep.
Like, just like with This Is America and like the shit that happened with Kanye.
Yeah.
That lined up and everybody was trying to pit them against them. They're like, ooh, Donald Glover's doing what Kanye thinks he's doing. And I was like, that's true.
Yeah, but it's not playing.
We don't gotta.
Yeah, it's not playing.
It's not playing. We don't gotta pit them against each other.
So the thing that I love most about Bushmaster is not only was he had a point and he had a legitimate gripe, but he felt like he was doing it almost as a swan song or a love letter to his mother, because he felt like he owed it to her. And you know, when you find out that stuff from the past and what the Stokes did, it almost becomes like this kind of like Dallas situation where you have these two families, but it's like, this is deep.
Yeah.
Like this is.
And it's so deliberate on the Stokes part.
Yeah.
There's no. And so for like, we all knew Mariah was fronting like she didn't know who the boy was.
Yeah.
I mean, because you know, she went to Jamaica with them. She's a little girl, like, get me something to drink. I'm gonna tell somebody. Yeah. Like she was. So she knew. Yeah, exactly. But so she knew exactly who he was. But that was my thing. I felt like Bushmaster kind of wanted me over towards the end, where I was like, okay, I need you to go on and kill old girl and get over with. Yeah. But at the beginning, I wanted both of them to go because, and I still do because.
And actually, Bushmaster ain't gone.
He's not gone.
He went back to Jamaica.
I think for the purpose he is done. He's made a millions with Tilda. He has no qualm with her. Yeah. And now that the last Stokes is dead, there's really nothing for him to come back to, and nobody to go and bother him. Yeah. So I think he's done as he's at peace. He's as peace, or as close as he's gonna get to peace, and he's losing his mind. So
which hopefully will come back due to the herbs and whatever
stuff like that. And so my problem was Bushmaster underestimated, despite all he knows about the Stokes, he greatly underestimated and did not just go in for the kill. Yeah, like he really just like, I felt like you came up so hard. Like he got the money, he got the club, and I feel like had he listened to his Uncle Ben, he probably could have kept it. Yeah. But then he's like...
Or strike fast, strike a death blow and let it be done with.
It. Exactly. It's like... And that's what... Again, that's exactly what the uncle said. He's like, okay, shoot her and be done with it. Yeah. Oh, no. I want her soul. She has
I gotta grind her in the dust and all this.
Exactly. So I was like, his need for the dramatic, and I get that he's doing. I understand.
And then when you see what happened to him, it's like, well that didn't I understand, but you're still taking a long time, and you complicating your plan to get the kind of emotional enjoyment you need is going to mess you up.
And that's exactly what it did.
Now, shooting her in the head is not going to give you that emotional enjoyment.
It's not.
But it
would have saved everybody in that restaurant because I don't know about you, but there is no gangster movie that I've ever watched where that doesn't happen. I had already predicted that if he didn't cap into Mariah's ass earlier in the episode, that was going to happen. Yeah, they were either going to kill some people. I didn't expect it to be a massacre like that, but I was pretty sure they were going to show up at Gwen's and either threaten. So when they abducted the uncle, I said, of course they're going to abduct the uncle. Like, your stupid ass kid can just keep. And then when you had both of them, I said, at that point, I still don't believe Tilda at any point really deserved to die. I said, I hated that you were dragging her into, the mother dragged her in, and then they dragged, I should have knew you as a Stokes. How do you know that? Yeah. Would you, I mean, for the same reason, this was another thing, because of why he's doing this, I also thought it was messed up that he was doing this to Tilda. Because remember,
Tilda didn't really
Tilda's
do anything.
Literally the equivalent to you.
Yeah, you're a random person.
You're a random person showing up. She knows how bad her mom is. And if you really wanted to kill her mom, she'd been like, I'm good.
Yeah, she would have been
I'm good.
She probably would. If her mom never dragged her back into it and she found out her mom was dead, she'd probably be like, her life probably caught up with her.
Right.
You know what I mean? Be like, I'm sad, but you know.
Killing her, and that was your weak point, because I think he realized that real late in the game, but I still don't understand why you couldn't pop something in the back of that woman's head and then walk away and say, hey, I'm letting you go. You know, I'm burning your house down, whatever. If you just need the flames or whatever. but his unwillingness to follow through. Like, that was the weirdest moment in the show for me. Like, he had actually been pretty good at following through. If they caught you...
Yeah, he did Bond villain that joint. But the show needed to happen.
Right, I understand. And I hate those moments where they do really out of the character. Like, it's not people being people. Yeah. It's not the character. It's just something to keep the story going. I was like, stop writing yourself in corners like that. Yeah. Because I need something else other than what happened for Mariah to live, for Tilda to live, and continue the story. I needed something else to happen. Yeah. Then what killed me was... Okay, so Luke Cage, I already told you about how he stood in front of him looking at this burning, knowing that two people are in there. I'm like, okay, I'm done with you and like taking your moment to pause and think about shit before you go do shit. And then he gets in there and Tilda did the same thing. She's like, oh my goodness, this thing is on fire. Oh, now let me try to untie my look. It's like you ain't even tired. I understand your story needs to continue. I know your show must live, but you got to do something better than that, because I hate like whack stuff happening for whack's sake, for story's sake. So then
or at least, or have a situation where Tilda freezes because she's in shock and she's kind of like frozen, but not a situation where she's just standing there like,
yeah, she's not even shocked. She's just like, let me try. And then Luke Cage shows up and then simply pulls and lifts her up. I get like Tilda couldn't like lift her mom up, because at that point somehow, some way she's passed out. Like, that didn't make any sense. Look,
man, it's smoke inhalation.
Exactly. It made no sense.
Too much smoke.
She was yelling at you when you were lighting stuff on fire.
Wow.
You didn't hit her. Like, it would make total sense. If she was like, no, don't do that. And he popped her and she knocked out. That would have made sense. Okay, I'm like helping y'all out right here. Just send me my check.
The forehead smack.
Right. Because he's as strong as Luke Cage, right? So, like, you tap her out. She passes out. You tap her out of anger. She's still going to burn. Yep. All right, then. Then he leaves for whatever bunk reason. And then actually have your actress pretend she's in shock, because I didn't believe she was shocked. And then she's like pulling at it. And then Luke Cage just shows up and snatches her up. And I'm just like, and did you remember him like just pulling the string?
But he's strong though.
No.
He uses his Luke Cage strength. See, like Tilda couldn't do that. He used his Luke Cage strength.
He looked like he was untying shoelaces, and I couldn't.
Oh man. But to the main character, because we've already kind of touched on the dad. The main character, Luke Cage.
Right.
I want to talk about more of towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about Luke Cage and his future?
I don't know. I am not somebody. Everybody wants black and gray shit, and
or black and white. Or...
Yeah, I'm like a gangster at heart. I'm like, you gotta do what you gotta do when you gotta do it. And again, how I felt when they first Mariah made that speech in court, and she was literally like, "Hey, y'all all gonna burn."
Hassan,
He's like, do you want some coffee? That old lady for real though.
Yo.
That old lady, I was like not mad at her when she's like, you want some coffee? Like, she watched him go. I was like, yeah.
Yo, she was like, don't sleep. She's like, don't sleep on this. Look, coffee's still stirring. Oh man, I ain't met yo.
Yeah, but the coffee was awesome. But yeah, when she gives that speech, and I said, you know what? Everybody wants something for nothing. And that's ultimately how I felt.
Perfect example how they treat him.
Yeah, how they treat him and everything.
It's like, go out, risk your life. For us.
We're not passing a hat around with you. You don't have a place to stay.
Yeah.
Nobody's really taking care of you. And anytime we got a problem with you, and then the little girl just everybody was like, oh, that's cold, but she's speaking truth. I'm like, are you serious?
Like, yo,
but why are you asking me stuff then? Like, why are you asking me?
Because if you just got the oh dang, but if you're gonna treat Luke Cage like that.
Right.
If Luke Cage picked up his bags and went down to Georgia with his dad, like he had, y'all be crying, please, how you gonna leave us? Please come
like
back.
That little girl was a gangster. She was though, but she was wrong.
She was wrong. Okay. Somebody should have beat her little butt.
Let her know not to speak Luke Cage like that. She was up to episode 9, and believe me, this season is on fire.
Yeah,
this
season is
It's a really good season. You're gonna. I feel you're gonna be so happy. Where critiques, I had space for a little bit of doubt because again, we had those few really slow episodes for season 1 where I was like, bruh.
But it's like because you had to go down. They went down to find the doctor to see where he got his powers from because he got shot by that bullet.
Exactly.
So it's like. The show had to slow down and see, like, I know a lot of people didn't like that. I didn't mind it because I know you need that.
But, we had that whole conversation about maybe they could cut a few episodes like that, the whole 13 episode thing. 13 episodes worked here. Yeah. I almost felt like they were going to run
This might be the best.
This was the best 13 because I really was like, they only got 13, and I don't know if they're going to finish this.
This might top... I think this tops Daredevil season 2 for me. And Punisher's up there too. Jessica Jones season 2 is solid.
I need to watch Jessica Jones.
But this was solid.
Everybody keeps
and
saying
I think it's because
solid.
You had these two villains that were at each other's throats the whole time. And Luke Cage literally trying to keep Harlem from burning down.
Right, because they didn't. That was my biggest issue with Bushmaster. It's like, I can't get on your side because you don't care who you hurt. Yeah. You don't care who you kill. Like, Mark Higgins, when he killed that dude, that made no sense to me. Everybody else kind of made sense. I didn't like Cockroach, but I didn't understand why he was there. Yeah. I was like,
so you cut off his head for what?
What? Like, how did, because he's not connected to Mariah in such a way. I just did not understand I think it
was just one of those send a message of brutality, but at the same time, you could have went and got her head. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was because
some of her guys had like her security detail because he got one. He got Ray, but he picked like the weakest link. Like when they showed who Ray was, I was like, damn, really? He's like the little boy of the group.
But at least Sugar ain't get got though. Yeah. But Sugar my boy, man.
Yeah, Sugar was pretty powerful.
Oh,
man. He said he thought it was interesting how they positioned the police as and heroic, and last season seemed more lopsided in that regard.
Yeah, the cops were kind of all over the place in last season. This one seems to have this one seems to have.
Oh, they say it's more the best crime fighting series in memory. Okay, because I didn't like those crime fighting scenes. I thought the fight scenes were so extra and deliberate.
And I do like.
BP. No, you did not come in here with a better than BP. We will not.
Come on, y'all.
We will not do any BP slander in here.
We ain't gonna do. Look,
we not for you. There's a lot of reviewers out there, but if you gonna slander BP, we are not here for you.
There's enough love to go around for Luke Cage and Black Panther because we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. Wakanda and Harlem are perfect places. Both of them.
They're sister.
Yeah, you know what? It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice to have them to get together. Black Panther, because there's an issue in Reginald Hudlin's run of Black Panther when Black Panther, Luke Cage, Blade, and I think Falcon are all together for like one issue, and it's really cool. But yeah, like Luke Cage, especially towards the end, I love the ominous note. Or the ominous message from Mariah.
Yeah, Hassan was like, "This is the best Marvel comic. Punisher is the second. The dynamics of his internal struggle gave the season a much different from another season." Yes, and they were very real. Like I was feeling him at every take. I was like, I was so annoyed with people and their expectations for him, and so as we were getting,
and it was so natural.
It was so natural.
It's like this is what black people do. If Luke Cage was real, black people would be treating him just like this.
Because Same thing happened to Superman.
True.
And stuff like that. So it's like no matter how superhero be, people once they get comfortable with the idea that you're around,
they're gonna be like, why didn't you fix this?
Why didn't you fix that? You know, and then they give you all these rules that you didn't put on yourself. And, they put all these rules on
they actually handled that in
Thank you. He said he said the fights weren't as polished as I would like them with Iron Fist, but it seemed to help him.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't. I thought the fight scenes weren't particularly polished all throughout this.
I think that's I attribute that more to Luke Cage's style. Because Luke Cage just kind of throws people.
Right.
Because he's so strong. He never really had to
he's
fight
not trying to kill anybody. He doesn't want to kill anybody.
With
at the very
end. When Bushmaster's the only one who can like fight.
Right. And he's not killing anybody. But even before people are like, hey, you can't kill anybody or I'm not going to help you. Bushmaster usually just kills people. And he was like dancing around with people.
Well, he was hitting with the capoeira. He had the capoeira styles. Hitting with Eddie from Tekken. And he was like...
Right. Brazil. Now, I didn't know that was
Jamaican. You have Jamaican because, of course, remember the slave trade took a curve down and hit the Jamaican islands and, Virgin Islands. And then they went on down to Brazil and all that, too. Right. So, of course, they had their, their styles. And I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool that he was much faster than Luke Cage.
He was.
Much faster. And Luke Cage was like...
And I like the different body types. So that would be, I feel like strength, ultimately, even though he is supernaturally almost as strong as Luke Cage. But he
still can't fight.
Like, I feel like if they were...
Because he's so used to just smacking people.
Exactly. So he can't fight. And also, I feel like if they were just go to hit, because remember, anytime they had like a fair fight where, Bushmaster wasn't sucker punching somebody or blowing shit in their face.
Yeah, thank
you. They pretty much...
He blew that hoodoo dust in his face. He was like...
Did you just say hoodoo?
He put that hoodoo in his face. He's like, there's only two people that have been hit with that. Luke Cage and Van Damme from Bloodsport, all right? He blew it in his face and Van Damme went blind. He couldn't see, he couldn't fight. But that's, it was hoodoo, man. It made him, it paralyzed him.
I can't with you, but I feel you.
She's like, but
I do feel you because he did get hit. I'm so gonna use that. He's like, with the hoodoo dust. The hoodoo dust, and it's so respectful. So we don't do the disrespectful thing because voodoo is a real religion.
Yeah, voodoo it's real.
It's a real religion.
Very serious.
And we're trying to be respectful. Because we ain't trying to get nobody to come after us.
I don't need nobody coming after me for nothing. I'm just playing. I know voodoo is very real. I have some cousins that have experienced it. I know some people that use it. So it's you want to like be respectful, but you don't want to do too much acknowledgement because we're not in the skeleton key. Oh yeah.
Like I don't believe in nothing. I don't care what you say.
I'm gonna just tell you like this. You better believe. You better believe.
You better believe not to believe, though. It's a very tricky.
That stuff mess you up. You better believe. Don't mess with that stuff.
So you don't have to believe in nothing. But anyway, with Luke Cage, so he through all these different forces, he's having all these like clashes. He's like being pulled in different directions by people, and I know because when he says he was tired, I felt him. I was already there. I was like, I'm so tired of because he was on some Superman Boy Scout.
And he's like, I'm trying.
And
they're not giving me respect for this.
And nobody's supporting me here. Nobody's supporting me there. My girl doesn't get me. And everybody's like, you're so angry. And he's like, I'm keeping it in check. But I'm sorry if I have to turn up against the bad guys. I can't be Superman.
I can't hug him. Well, I mean, I guess he probably could hug him.
And stuff like that. If I don't intimidate, because he's like, I think he showed a very good side of this. And I'm going to tie it back with what was going on with Mariah. And when she got arrested. It's like all these fighters, right? And again, it's like somebody wants something for nothing. They want you to be all the things they want you to be, and none of the things they don't want you to be.
And you have no idea what they want you to be.
Exactly. And they don't want to give you anything for any of these services.
No, not a drop.
You better handle every fire that comes up for them And you see a lot of these people are not showing up because Harlem. They're like, well, I have this personal matter. You need to take care of it. And you're like, I'm protecting Harlem. Yeah, when I become your babysitter, your mediator, your Captain Save
I stopped like general crime.
General crime. People are like my kitties in a tree.
It's like I don't do that.
Exactly. Well, what are you gonna do, my little bad gangster mom? She can't walk down the street because of so-and-so. And I'm like, you her daddy? What the hell? Like, dang, can you do something?
And even when they were coming to him, he was like, I'll try to get to you.
Exactly. And he still was trying, and people were just being so belligerent and so entitled and just so rude about it in general. So you're giving the man, like, not a choice. It's like, I need to figure out some way where I can keep people respectful because they forget this is a person at the end of the day. So then you fast forward to Mariah gets locked up. Fires abound. Yep. Again, people are like, no, maybe we do need, some people are actually entertaining the idea that they might need Mariah back. Because she's the person, she's the only person who can put out these fires. And I said, that's not true. That's not true.
That ain't true.
I said this is the thing, we should know, this is like learn from your history kind of moment, because anytime you take out a head gangster,
there's going to be a power vacuum.
There's a power vacuum. Yeah. And if you are not ready for that power vacuum,
it's going to be
ugly. It's going to be ugly because everybody, like people who aren't even organized was like, oh, well, I know I'm not going to get in trouble if I go and rob old lady down the street. This is not going to happen. And then all the other people wanted the chaos to happen, like the Italians and the Koreans and all these people want the chaos to happen so they can just slide on in. Yep. Now they're fighting for street. And you actually had heard this about some cities that were having gang wars where they were blasting each other in the street in the middle of the daylight because they're fighting for block by block, and stuff. So so I was like, so he says, you know what? I got to patch this hole. Yeah. I need this hole.
Figure out a way
to patch this
hole. Stop these guys.
And I cannot do it because Mariah called him out. As his, what'd she call him? Boy Scout? What kind of Boy
Scout I can't remember. Something. My chocolate Boy Scout or something like that. Yeah.
The idea, she's like, you're not going to do it. Just like everybody's like, Batman doesn't kill anybody. But Batman figures out a way to scare you.
Yeah, Batman, he won't kill you, but he doesn't particularly save you either.
But that's the difference. Because that's exactly, again, I think Luke Cage is like the Superman of Marvel. Because he will not kill people. And he won't leave them stranded. Yeah. Where Batman be like, I ain't gonna kill you, but I ain't gonna save you.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna let you deserve that.
Yeah, exactly. And that was Luke Cage's problem. I think that's another reason he got that way. If he had not saved Mariah, he wouldn't have had to go to this super dark place. Maybe he would have because Harlem was still needed, like somebody to take over.
And now it's a very interesting sight to see him sort of, it's weird because it's not that he's essentially a criminal, but he has to manage crime to keep Harlem safe. You know what I'm saying? And he said, look, no, I can't kill you because old girl from, I think she was from the Colombian cartel or whatever.
No, the Italian.
Italian, sorry. She was like, look, you can't kill me because my Russian friends will come in here. He was like, it's a good point. But what I'll do is I'll hit all of your trucks. And then you won't be able to pay them. And then you won't be their best friend no more.
Right.
So, it's a give and take. Because it's like, they know you ain't killing nobody.
Exactly.
And you know you ain't killing nobody. So he's like, okay, but I can make, because what I really don't want.
She made a point because I felt like she saw that he was dangling on the edge where he might kill somebody.
Yeah.
If he needed
because he was breaking, because he put that hand down and he broke all the fingers. He said, dude, you understand.
Exactly. And this is the point. Like, he's like, he has his boundaries. He's figuring out where they are. He has hard lines already that he can't be bought. Every time you try to buy him, he really resists that. And now he's gotten to a place where now he can truly not be bought by anybody.
Yeah.
He loves Harlem. That's what he has to do. And that's all he's going to do. He's going to preserve this place.
Yeah.
That, you got to keep all that nonsense out of here, and here. And so he literally puts a wall back around Harlem. Because you can only do so much for one.
Because you can never stop crime.
Crime, right.
But if you can put this stuff in the
Put
context.
the
old rules back in place. And at least run it in a context where people that are not in the game are not victims. Because that's what Mariah crossed. She crossed the line. Mm-hmm. There were innocent people in there, just regular blue collar folk just eating.
I do think it's funny when she ran up on
Billy.
Yo,
Billy.
I can't remember what her real name was.
Billy's fair game.
Yo, Billy was fair game.
Now her sister, her sister that wasn't even 15.
And you know why I felt for Billy because I can't remember her real name.
But we named her Billy.
But that was my point with Bushmaster is that he started some shit he couldn't finish. Like and like I was saying, like in no gangster picture do you go and cause as much hell for another gangster, group or party, and they don't come and find out what's valuable to you. He should have known that was coming. He should have known that's coming, and of course it's going to happen when you're your weakest. You were almost dying somewhere where again your main dude is forcing people to save you. But he forced Billy to do that. That's why I don't feel bad. I didn't think it was fair game because she's like, can I quit already? I don't want to be here.
Yeah, okay.
And he's like, no,
she was all right. So she was forced into
exactly.
it.
You forcing I'll take that back. To do stuff.
I'm sorry, Billy. Rest in peace, girl.
Right. And so I was like, you should have had protection, but they're just out in the open, living their life. And then what was killing me about Ingrid and the uncle, she took the money, put it in there. Like, where do you think the money's coming from? Come on, my God.
Where you think that big old stack?
You just taking money knowing what he's doing, and you just out and open and just he and come on, especially after people are dying. He's killing people, putting people's heads on spikes.
Yeah, it's a whole other level. You should
have had notice that you could not sit in your restaurant out there before somebody made a connection back to you guys.
Yeah.
When he's out there throwing his name out, he's throwing out the information. Do you know John McCliver? Like, he's telling you who he is. Well, you remember, like you can figure it out.
You're literally like leaving a calling card.
Exactly. You're leaving all these crumb drops. Shades, in a way, didn't have to follow you. I mean, it's the easiest thing to do. He said it was hard to do, but it's still the easiest thing to do just to follow you back home because you're showing up to people's clubs thinking you're so tough you can't be touched. And you're like Luke Cage. Like, when they kept saying they were alike, they were alike.
Yeah, they handled their internalized anger differently.
Yes.
And I mean, even that conversation that they had outside of the morgue or whatever, when Ingrid was there and Paul had already been dead. When he was like, in another life we could have been friends. And they are kind of maybe not two sides of the same.
He said brother in that time. He said they could have been friends on the bridge.
Oh yeah, friends. So it's like, you have this situation where they might not be two sides of the same coin, but they're definitely, in the same set, maybe. Because they do, they are people that feel this purpose on them due to what other people have thrust upon them.
I did like that line
Luke
where
didn't ask for powers; they were given. He didn't ask for his dad to go and sleep with some other woman and then disown them and blah blah. That was put on him. So, and then of course with Bushmaster, you have all this stuff put on him.
I did like Luke made a great point, and maybe I don't know if it was intentional or not because it's definitely an issue that needs to be discussed. Is this idea of putting you're special on somebody. And because he survived all these things, he was like, you're special. And while he had faced great tragedy, also Luke is like, you're not the only person going through pain. Like, you're not the only person who went through that. Yeah. I'm not downgrading that or marginalizing that. Yeah. But you shouldn't think it's okay for you to go out and put. He's like, well, whoever gets in my way. Did they really get in your way? Yeah. Because some of those people you weren't looking for. Yeah. Some of those people you weren't looking for. True. That's what's killing me. Like, again, Mark Higgins made no sense to put his head on a pike. Like, I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, he's not a bad guy. He actually
I think it was just someone who was in his way.
Exactly. Well,
it seemed like one of those situations.
Higgins is the guy who owned the company that she forced. Yeah. Again, I was like, he's a victim of Mariah.
But he's not.
But
he's not Mariah's friend.
He's not Mariah's friend.
Or part of her crew.
Exactly. And so you hurting him, or just like you didn't like Luke Cage. Oh, I don't like him. He vexes me. For what? Because
for what?
He's
just because he's the man? You know what I'm saying?
He's protecting Harlem that you don't love. That was the thing that killed me at the end of the day. Bushmaster had no love for Harlem. None.
It was more just a revenge thing of what was done to his family.
Right.
So it's, man, now, since we kind of wrapped up the whole season, what are your kind of like thoughts or predictions for season 3? Or someone said Heroes for Hire instead of
right, exactly. I was like, I don't think nobody wants a season 2 of Iron Fist. I'm gonna put that out there because it's like, I was like,
unless you're gonna have to make his fighting way better. Like you're gonna have either this is what needs to happen with Iron Fist choreography. Either call the guys that do the raid, or call the guys that do Into the Badlands. Do one of those because whoever's handling it now is doing a bad job at those fight scenes.
That was too bad of a job. I'm out. Heroes for Hire maybe because the dynamic between them was really good.
Yeah, especially when he was like, you have to find balance.
Right.
He was like, right now you're not balanced, and he just pushed him. He was like, see, you're not. He's like, you're not ready.
Exactly. Like, so I feel that, but I don't know. I mean, of
Iron
course
Fist
we
season 2 would have to be extremely.
What about? Wait a minute before we wrap up though. What about? This ties into the 3rd season. So do you think Mariah's message, her ominous message at the end, is going to prove true? Because at first when he said nah, I was like,
yeah, we were like, yes.
Yes.
I was like, yes. He said no, burn it down.
He's like,
and I was like, yeah. And then next shot you see it, I'm like, because she was right. That's why I said this relationship, at least on screen, has been conveyed better than Batman and Joker ever has. Because she knows Luke. And honestly, Luke knows Mariah. But I think Mariah is more manipulative where she knows him trying to do right is always going to outweigh anything. Because like he said, nah, burn it. But his kind of like nature boy scout kind of thing is going to override that and say, no, I can make Harlem's Paradise mean something good. And she's like, no, it's going to drag you deeper into the darkness. And I think
understand how you justify that.
I think it might, but his friends will come and save him. I think that might be what season 3 is about.
Maybe that's what Misty's backbiting was about.
Oh, boy. She was looking good. I give you props. She was looking
I was convenient as hell to you. She's looking all indignant and shit because they want to talk in front of her. Like, bitch, you a cop. Like,
it's like,
get off me.
Anybody think about you? All right, Hassan. Thanks, man.
The posse storyline.
I don't know about the posse storyline, so I really don't know.
I'm not sure with that. But
I think he will slip a little.
Definitely, and that could be what they're exploring because I feel like it was such a full season when they were exploring that. And I mean, I guess they need a new villain, but
because I think now maybe 2 things might be at play, like kind of like the pride, and because he's like, yes, I have saved. Only I could have saved Harlem, and then and then kind of like use that to slide him into the darkness with. I guess I'll let.
Was like Luke Trump.
He was. Luke isn't that bad, but he might get that bad. But hopefully, it'll be a season where he starts to slide, starts to let this gangster and that gangster do a little more. Maybe he gets a little more involved and allows more to happen in Harlem. And, like Danny and Jessica, and whenever Matt Murdock comes back, because we know season 3 is coming. So whenever he comes back, maybe they'll use their words of wisdom and whatever to bring him back out of the darkness. Maybe that'll, Claire too, or, Claire, Misty, Colleen, all them. So maybe.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I don't know. I hope he doesn't fall through the cracks. I don't
know.
No, he's been letting himself be taken on such through the season. Again, his need to be a Boy Scout, I feel Mariah's betting on that. And she's bet pretty successfully. Yeah. To that degree.
She was like, this place is going to be his siren. He's going to crash up against the rocks. And Damn,
just what happened.
She is evil.
She really is. She
from
had
beyond
to go.
the grave, she was evil.
She had to go.
She said, even if I die, I want to make sure that you fail as a hero. Like that girl. I'm glad she did.
And I just
when he said good, I was like, oh, he done changed.
I mean, and I'm here for that change if he doesn't have to be blinded. I mean, again, he was tired. I was tired. I said,
yeah. Because Mariah, it was time for Mariah to go.
Exactly.
It was definitely time for her to go.
She's so unhinged. Yeah. There's no rules to her anymore. And I was like, can somebody be a superhero and actually understand how the world works? And then make some guidelines on how the world actually works. Like, understand you're going to have to navigate a lot of gray to do any kind of good. Because
crime is never going to not exist.
Right.
There's always going to be somebody doing something that's not accepted by society.
Even the good people in the story can be mundo trifling. Like, so, I mean,
True.
Look, I would have a hard time sometimes saving Misty. I sure hell wouldn't save Mariah.
Man,
and
Mariah,
there's a few other people on the street that would come for help that was like clowning me. I was like, the next time you guys hit me up about Captain Save-A-Ho, I'm going to tell you I'm on break.
And honestly, I think that's why Luke Cage stood and looked at that brownstone for a minute. Because I think a part of him was just like, let her burn. And then he was just like, shh, can't let her burn. God. And he was like, but Mariah was counting on that. Because I think he was looking at that building like, good. And then he was just like, all right. But at the end, when she said it burns, he was like, good. I was like, and he was breaking bones.
Exactly. You got
he ain't just tapping your forehead no more.
Yeah, he can keep the middle ground. Like, I'm not against him doing that because people are evil and they suck. And if you don't show me about that work, if you don't know when to give somebody that work, it's about knowing when to give somebody that work and knowing when not to.
Yeah.
You know? Not everybody's the same. I was like, I'm hip to
and we've already had a great conversation on that. Maybe that person in Daredevil can carry it over. Or maybe Punisher can carry it over. Because they had that discussion in Daredevil Season 2.
Like him going on completely to the other side.
Yeah, but in Season 2 of Daredevil, they had that conversation of like, how far is too far?
Right.
You know, so maybe Daredevil, when he comes back, technically he's already back, but, you know, when he comes back to New York, can kind of have that conversation with him about, dude, you've already crossed the line. You've got to come back. Or even the Punisher, wherever he ends up. I don't know where, even though that was a crazy season, wherever he ends up, maybe he can talk about like, look, I'll cross that line. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be where I'm at.
Right.
Like it's nothing but black in here. It's nothing but darkness and dirt and hell.
I don't know.
You don't want to go in here.
See, I started off as a comic book reader, reading like The Dark Horse and
so you want Luke to go?
What's the other one?
Vertigo. Yeah.
Is that Vertigo? I read all the Dark comics, and so they have these characters that kind of ride this line. Either they ride the line, or they're just little to the side of it. And they work, in my opinion, because I feel they have a real
sometimes you have
world perspective on how stuff works.
Especially when I guess because he has to learn to give an equal and opposite reaction.
That should be
to
like
certain
the
gangsters.
Last thing you do, but it shouldn't be so off the table that that's my thing. People, again, you want Mariah off, vacuum happens. Then he cleans it up.
Then you're mad at how he cleaned it up.
He cleaned it up, right?
It's like what do you want?
What do you want? Like,
how do
you want him to do this?
Because crime is never...
Because you could have waited for the police to do it.
Oh.
And how long would you be dealing with this if you had to wait on them to do it? Okay, so...
But at the same time, police can't go in there and make that deal.
They can't.
They can't legally go in there and make that deal.
Nobody would have to become a pseudo-crime boss, because that's what he is at the moment.
Yeah. Because he's kind of managing crime.
Exactly. If you had waited for the police to do it. That's all I'm saying. But you don't got 5 years of war in your neighborhood.
Man.
5, 6, 10 years of war before, okay, we finally got a hold of stuff. Yeah. You know, so you got to make real world choices. Like, I get, like, in an ideal world, you won't have to deal with any of this. but we're talking about the real world.
Yeah, and crime is never going to disappear.
Exactly.
You know, there's always going to be like guns or prostitution or drugs or whatever, gambling or whatever.
Like,
you know,
like D-Dub being so absolutely floored that he would do this. Yeah. I'm like, how
it's
else?
The only way. It's like
he's not becoming a police officer because he already been a police officer.
Yeah.
And he ended up in the system.
Thank you.
It didn't do anything for him.
Not a thing. Not a drop.
Misty quit because she was like, I can't do anything in the system. The system is not working.
When Shaft was trying to work with this system, he had to quit.
Exactly. So I'm just saying, like, come on, bruh, stop acting brand new.
Yeah.
Do I want him out here randomly killing people? No. But do not. I always got really.
If he got to break an ankle or two, then...
Exactly. I always get mad at people who let things get bad before they're willing to do that ultimate.
Thank you.
Why did it have to get this bad for us to say, okay, you go on and take Mariah out?
Yeah.
And then, you know what? Let the other gangsters who think they can fill this spot, no, we ain't about that. We'll give you that work too.
Yeah.
And then the main thing you gonna give us that work too? Oh, we step back over here.
Yeah. Because like he said, I won't kill you.
Well, she made it where he couldn't kill her.
Well, yeah, but he said, you know what? If you won't let me get you that way, I'll take down every facility.
Right.
I'll take down every load, and you won't be able to pay them back for the drugs that you got from them.
Exactly.
And then
they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care.
They don't care. They don't want to hear. They don't want to hear that Iron Man took something or that Luke Cage or Daredevil took the drugs.
They're like, so what about our money though?
Yeah,
like that's all they care.
They're gonna be like, where's my money? So they might let you slide once because of your relationship.
Right.
Will they let you slide twice?
No.
Probably not.
You can't afford to have me.
Luke Cage, like, I'm known for finding drug spots and shutting them down. So you don't want this.
Right.
So you stay your butt back over there.
And she's like, okay. And then she's like, or you can stay out of Harlem. And she's like, all right, I'll stay out of Harlem.
And then she did offer him some espresso. She was like, you ain't been made a proper cup. I was like,
I'm totally not mad at Luke Cage doing what he's doing because I feel like he's just like, I see the world as it is.
Yeah.
And I hope he can maintain the line because it's not easy to do. Yeah. I feel like I'm a gangster like that. I could probably maintain that line. Like, look, this is my rules. This is not my rules.
Yeah.
We only do this in the most extreme cases. And you're going to live your life.
Yeah. And now I will say it was sad that we lost the actor that plays his father, Reg E. Carter.
I was so sad. I did not know.
Because sadly, if they do follow the storyline where he dips, it would be great to have his father come back and be like, you know what, you're slipping, blah, blah, blah. Right. But we won't have that. But
what did he pass from? Just old age?
I can't remember what he passed from, but I remember hearing about it and then being like, Dad, I think this is his last or one of his last roles. And the way he killed it was so great. Exactly. Like their relationship was amazing.
Yeah, the way it built, and then I felt like that's why I asked like, what did he pass from? Because I felt like they set it up. That it'd be completely okay that he didn't come back because he's like, I'm going back to Georgia. You should come back. We should go back to Georgia. So he goes back to Georgia, and then the news comes. And I had thought that to myself when he was saying that to Luke. I was like, you better enjoy your daddy because he's going to pass away. Yeah. He going to be, because I was thinking this to myself. I really did think this to myself, guys, that where I thought he was going to be in Georgia. He moved back to Georgia. And then, like, Luke Cage is, like, handling Harlem. And then he gets word his dad died. Dad
gets sick or something and he has to leave.
And stuff like
and then
that.
Harlem get horrible.
Exactly. And I was like, I could see that being something. And then at the very end of the season, they're like, oh, he passed away. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, so
I had come to, like, love him as a character.
Yeah, and I like their story as well. So, so all in all, this season was amazing.
Yeah, it was great. It was like, I don't really... I mean, I'm already giving my criticism.
Yeah, but it's like
overall,
it's a great, much better season.
All the criticisms were just like how good the writing was to make us like
make us kind of mad at people,
mad at certain characters,
like mad at Misty, or you're mad at whoever, or mad at Mariah,
like real people. Like how dare they?
Or then you sort of feel bad for Mariah, but then you're like, dang, Mariah, did you tell your daughter that? She was like, so I don't love you, and I was like, oh snap. I was like, dang. So it was, it's dope. I loved it. I'm sure you guys loved it. Thank you for tuning in. Now, before we bounce, of course, if you have not subscribed to NERDSoul, make sure you subscribe because you will see me and her next Tuesday because we'll be breaking down like the white dude at Morehouse. We'll be breaking down this whole stuff with Terry Crews and Russell Simmons and his old step and fetch self. Then look, we'll be talking about like I don't know, old girl that's asking for permit patty.
Oh my goodness,
we're gonna be talking about
a pool patty, permit patty.
We got mad stuff. Next Tuesday on Lounging, it's gonna be on. Like just like cause white people been tripping. White people been tripping lately. But the show is great. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, hit that thumbs up or hit the thumbs down because at least we'll know what you're doing. So before we bounce, to my left, I have the awesome Marqueeda LaStar. Where can they find you?
He's always like, hit the down. I don't care if they feel like that.
Up and down.
Let me know what's up with you. Be froggy, jump. I'm Marqueeda LaStar, and you can find me anywhere online at lastar.net.
Cool. And me, you can find me NERDSoul, one word, NERDSoul. Search me up, subscribe, follow me, send me a message, all that good stuff, because it will be fun to talk about this stuff with you, especially when we're tweeting back and forth and jokes and gifts and all that jazz. So before we bounce, this is us to you saying thanks for watching and peace. And catch y'all next Tuesday because it's gonna be the bomb. Y'all better come through.